What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Sunday, May 15th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate today. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. So a couple of studs on the slate that I like today. First one is Justin Verlander, and he's pitching against the Washington Nationals. Justin Verlander, he pitches pretty well versus all hands, only giving up a .468 OPS versus lefties, a .477 OPS versus righties, and a .083 OPS versus switch hitters. And he's facing 3 lefties, 3 righties, and 3 switch hitters. The Nationals have hit 24 of his last 97 pitches. That's a .247 batting average. And Justin Verlander is $10,500 FanDuel salary, $200 less on DraftKings, having a fantastic season so far, averaging 42 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 1.55, record is 4-1, pitching an average of 89 pitches per game. So I like Justin Verlander here versus the Washington Nationals. Another stud that I like is Alek Manoah, and he's pitching against a low-salary batting team, the Tampa Bay Rays. Alek Manoah, he's only giving up a .658 OPS versus switch hitters and a .428 OPS versus righties, facing 4 switch hitters and 3 righties. And I like this pick because the Rays have only hit 6 of his last 43 pitches. That's a 140 batting average. He's $10,000 FanDuel salary, $400 less on DraftKings, averaging 39 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 1.75, record is 4-0, pitching an average of 91 pitches per game. So I like Alek Manoah here versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, if you want to save a little bit of salary here, take a look at Carlos Carrasco. He's pitching against a low-salary batting team, the Seattle Mariners, and Carlos Carrasco giving up a .635 OPS versus lefties, a .738 OPS versus righties, facing 3 lefties, 4 righties. But I like this pick because the Mariners have only hit 8 of his last 37 pitches. That's a .216 batting average. He's $8,900 FanDuel salary, and he's $900 less on DraftKings. So I like that DraftKings price, and he's averaging 33 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 3.19, record is 3-1, pitching an average of 84 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Only 7 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Carlos Carrasco here versus the Seattle Mariners. Now, another pitcher that I like, if you want to save even more salary here, is Austin Gomber. And he's pitching against the Kansas City Royals. Now, Austin Gomber only giving up a .613 OPS versus lefties, a .788 OPS versus righties, facing 4 lefties and 5 righties. But I like this pick because even though it's not a huge sample size here, I think it's a fantastic start. The Royals have only hit 2 of his last 23 pitches. That's a .087 batting average. So I think he might have something going here versus the Kansas City Royals. He's only $7,200 FanDuel salary. He's $100 less on DraftKings. And he's averaging 27 fantasy points per game on the season. Now, he does have an ERA of 4.36. Record is 2-3. He's pitching an average of 86 pitches per game, but I like Austin Gomber here versus the Kansas City Royals. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Here's my home run hitter for the day. I like CJ Cron with a 57% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Daniel Lynch. CJ Cron bats 11% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.014 OPS versus lefties. Daniel Lynch pitches 46% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .758 OPS versus righties. Now, CJ Cron is 4,100 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .309. So I like CJ Cron here versus Daniel Lynch. I also like Omar Narvaez with a 39% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Elieser Hernandez. Omar Narvaez is batting 21% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .793 OPS versus righties. Elieser Hernandez pitching 18% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .882 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Hernandez yet. Omar Narvaez is only 2,400 FanDuel salary. He's 1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .254. So I like Omar Narvaez here versus Elieser Hernandez.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
I also like Trey Mancini with a 40% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Tarek Skubal. Trey Mancini batting 20% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .848 OPS versus lefties. Tarek Skubal pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 21% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .740 OPS versus righties. Now, Trey Mancini is 2 for 5 versus Skubal. It's a .400 batting average with a 1.1 OPS. And he's only 2,800 FanDuel salary, 1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .288. So I like Trey Mancini here versus Tarek Skubal. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Jose Iglesias with an 83% batting advantage over Daniel Lynch. Jose Iglesias bats 37% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .958 OPS versus lefties. Daniel Lynch is pitching 46% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .758 OPS versus righties. Jose Iglesias is only 2,800 FanDuel salary. He's 1,700 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .316. And I like this game because Vegas thinks there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game. 11 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So lots of fantasy points to go around here. And I think the Colorado Rockies stack is looking fantastic. So I like Jose Iglesias here versus Daniel Lynch. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Brandon Drury with a 72% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jose Quintana. Brandon Drury is batting 12% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .911 OPS versus lefties. Jose Quintana is pitching 60% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .818 OPS versus righties. Brandon Drury is 1 for 3 versus Quintana, but that one hit was a home run. He's $3,900 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .260. So I like Brandon Drury here versus Jose Quintana. I also like Rafael Devers. He's got a 6% batting advantage over John Gray. Rafael Devers batting 17% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .910 OPS versus righties. John Gray giving up a .642 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Gray yet. Rafael Devers is $3,900 FanDuel salary, $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's got a batting average of .308. So I don't love this play, but there's not a lot of third base players that I like. So I think I'm just going to pay up for either Brandon Drury or Rafael Devers. And Devers is playing pretty well. He scored 31, 10, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games, hitting the ball well this season. So I like Rafael Devers here versus John Gray. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Tim Anderson with a 45% batting advantage over Nestor Cortes. Tim Anderson is batting 37% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.186 OPS versus lefties. Nestor Cortes pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 9% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .633 OPS versus righties. And Tim Anderson is 2 for 5, batting .400 with a .800 OPS versus Cortes. He's $3,700 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He's got a batting average of .327. So I like Tim Anderson here versus Nestor Cortes.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position. Here's another player for your Colorado Rockies stack. I like Connor Joe with a 66% batting advantage over Daniel Lynch. Connor Joe is batting 20% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .978 OPS versus lefties. We know Daniel Lynch pitches 46% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .758 OPS versus righties. And Connor Joe is $3,800 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .291. So I like Connor Joe here versus Daniel Lynch. I also like JD Martinez with a 26% batting advantage over John Gray. JD Martinez is batting 15% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .879 OPS versus righties. John Gray giving up a .725 OPS versus righties. Now, JD Martinez is 2 for 7, so that's a .286 batting average, but he has a 1.429 OPS versus Gray because both of those hits were home runs. He's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .306. So I like JD Martinez here versus John Gray. I also like Starling Marte with a 35% batting advantage over Robbie Ray. Starling Marte batting a .706 OPS versus lefties, and Robbie Ray pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 42% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .741 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Starling Marte is 7 for 20. That's a .350 batting average and a 1.059 OPS versus Ray. He's got 4 singles, 1 double, 1 triple, and 1 home run. So pretty good batter versus pitcher matchup here for Starling Marte. And he's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,600 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .254. So I like Starling Marte here versus Robbie Ray. Okay, now here's a value play. Another player for the Colorado stack, if you want to save some salary with this pick, take a look at Jonathan Daza with a 59% batting advantage over Daniel Lynch. Jonathan Daza batting 13% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .818 OPS versus lefties. We know Daniel Lynch is giving up a .758 OPS versus righties. And Jonathan Daza, only $2,700 FanDuel salary and only $100 more on DraftKings. He's averaging only 5 fantasy points per game on the season, but he's been on fire here. Let's see what he's done in his last 5. He scored 9, 13, 3, 21, and 10 fantasy points in his last 5 games. And he has a batting average right now of .365. So I think he's underpriced, especially in this game that should be high scoring. Vegas thinks there's going to be 11 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. And the splits are good here. So I like Jonathan Daza here versus Daniel Lynch.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.